right, hello everyone. I am Kellie Pokrifka, and I work with the Invisible Disabilities Association. And this is another webcast for Invisible InCourage, giving us the coping mechanisms required to get through the day and get through the COVID-19 pandemic. Today, we are so excited to present Holly Zajur. Holly is a mindfulness expert working with Connect Wellness, where she focuses on addressing stress and increasing wellness through mindfulness and yoga in the workplace. Welcome, Holly.
Hey, Kelly. Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you. It's so exciting to have you here. Can you tell us more about your company, Connect Wellness?
Yes. So Connect Wellness is focused, just like you said, on addressing stress and the impacts that it will have on our mental and physical health using yoga and mindfulness techniques. And we specifically go into workplaces and offer wellness solutions. And right now we're in the process of developing on-demand wellness trainings that will be available to people wherever they are. So it's exciting working on that right now, something that COVID-19 has kind of brought into action.
Very cool. What does on-demand mean in that sense?
So on-demand will be like recorded classes of a variety of lengths that will have different mindfulness techniques and yoga techniques that you can practice anytime. And actually some of the practices we go over today, there will be like mini clips of that, whether it's like a 3-minute practice or a 30-minute practice, giving a variety of options for people to access wherever you are and whenever you need it.
That is so great. Will that be available only through the companies that you work with, or can other people look it up and have
Other
access?
people will be able to join in, which is exciting. So it's still in the early phase of development, but I'll keep y'all posted once we get that material live.
Yes, please do. That would be so useful. I know all of us have craziness going on and just trying to get through the day.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, Holly, through your toughest times and your darkest hours, what gives you the courage just to get through another day?
I don't remember where I read it, but there was a book and a line in it was, "You can always handle the moment that you are in." And that is kind of my grounding phrase for whatever challenge that we're moving through. We can always handle the moment that we're in because we are already in it. So rather than trying to wish it was different, it gives me the confidence to know, like, I can handle this moment. No matter how hard, no matter how scary, I'm here so I can handle this and I can breathe with this.
I love that. Well, I can't wait to see your presentation, so I'll hand you the rein now.
Yeah,
So
thank you so much.
Thank you, Holly.
Today, we're going to talk a little bit about how to deal with pain and how to deal with uncertainty and stress. And the people viewing this are far better experts in pain than I am. But we're going to go over a 3-step process that is based in mindfulness that can help you move through whatever challenge that you're facing. And we'll go over a couple of different practices and I'll explain what they're like. We'll practice them together. So you'll have a few tools that you can use when challenges arise. And they're all things that you can do if you're just sitting in bed or sitting at the desk or whatever moment you're in. Very accessible techniques that you can use. So something I want to talk about first is, I believe Shinzen said it. It's a phrase that says, suffering is pain plus resistance. And pain is inevitable in life, and the pain that you're experiencing is very real. Even if you can't see it, it's there, and it happens. But suffering is optional. Suffering is when we resist what's happening. So if you're someone who deals with chronic pain of any sort, you might not, well, you aren't in control of the pain, but you can control how much you suffer. And there's a 3-step process that you can apply to help alleviate that suffering, to let go of the resistance so that you're not in more pain than you already are. So the 3 steps I like to focus on are awareness, acceptance, and compassion. So we're going to start with awareness. And this pairs really well with mindfulness. For those of you who might not be familiar with mindfulness, mindfulness is the awareness that arises by paying attention on purpose in the present moment. So it starts with awareness. And you can just begin by bringing your awareness to whatever is present for you. So even sometimes we don't know what's going on. Maybe we're like really angry. I know I'm guilty of this a lot. Like I'll just be in a bad mood and I'll be grumpy. And it's normally because I'm tired or I have a headache or I haven't eaten enough, whatever it might be. So when we first become aware of what's present, we can learn how to meet it, even if it's pain. So a great practice to develop awareness, and it's one that you can do anytime, is a body scan. So I'm going to talk you through it first. So a body scan, I'll guide you through it, then we'll talk about it after.
Perfect.
Awesome. So wherever you are, if you're seated, lying down, standing, I want you to just focus on where your body meets the ground. And feel your spine lengthen. Bring your shoulders to your ears and drop them down the back. If it feels comfortable to you, you can gently rest the eyes or just gaze at a point in front of you. And take a moment to scan your body from the head to the toes. And just take note of the sensations present for you here without judgment, just taking mental inventory of what's there. And then place your awareness on the chest as the breath flows in and out of the body. And then you can slowly open your eyes. So that body scan actually is a really good way to alleviate tension in the body. So if there's physical pain present, by just bringing your attention to the different parts of the body, you can soften and release that tension around it. And it lets go of some of that resistance like we talked about earlier. So that's a great tool that you can use. You know, it's not a cure-all for anything, but it's really a good way to just develop like, okay, my back really hurts right now, or I've got a really bad migraine, and just being aware of what's there.
That's wonderful. I love that.
Yeah. So the next part is, once we're aware of what's there, is acceptance. And acceptance doesn't mean that you're like, everything's great, I feel awesome. Like acceptance might be like, wow, this really sucks right now, but it's there. And the phrase that I keep in mind is accept the present situation, because the present moment is already there. So we have 2 options. You can either waste a lot of energy and effort wishing that things were different, maybe wishing that you felt the way you used to, or maybe wanting to change or control things, but the moment's already here. So instead of adding that extra energy, that extra effort, increasing your body's stress response, which will probably make your pain worse, if you accept what's there, you can move through it. And it kind of brings me back to what gets me through my hardest times is you can always handle the moment you're in. So accept the present situation and know that you can handle this breath. You can always handle the breath that you're taking right here, right now. So we're going to talk through 2 breath techniques that I really love. And the breath is a really important tool because not only does it help bring mindful awareness to a moment, but the breath communicates to our nervous system. So when we inhale, we activate our sympathetic nervous system, which is paired with our body's stress response, and that will increase your cortisol levels. It can help you in a lot of ways, but when that's on override, your body can become depleted and fatigued. But when we exhale, we actually counterbalance that. We activate the parasympathetic nervous system. And that communicates, it like calms down the stress response. It communicates to the body and the mind that it is okay, you can relax. So by exhaling, you're doing a tremendous gift to not only your mind, but your body as well. So the first breath we're going to talk through, and I'll scoot back a little so you can see, is a diaphragmatic breath. And that's just a big word for like a belly breath. So I want you to bring your right hand to your chest and your left hand to your belly. And you can choose if you want your eyes open or closed for this. Inhale, feel your chest expand. Feel it move all the way down to your belly. And then exhale, feel your belly and your chest sink back. Inhale, the chest, the belly expand. Exhale, let it slowly sink back. Inhale, the chest, the belly expand. And exhale, slowly let it sink back. Take 3 more breaths like this on your own. Good, and then you can just return to your natural breath. Let go of any desire to change or control the breath. So that diaphragmatic breath, that 2-part breath, hand on the heart, hand on the belly, really feel yourself fill the belly with air, is it actually increases your oxygen levels, which will give you an energy boost. It lowers blood pressure. It can reduce your heart rate. So if you're like having an anxious moment and your heart's beating really fast, great thing to do. It relaxes the muscles and releases a sense of calm through the brain and the body. And that's greatly in part because it activates our parasympathetic nervous system. So it's a great one you can do. Then the next one is my favorite one. And it's just a 1 to 2 breath that focuses on the exhale. And I think the exhale is amazing. So like I want to do it more and more. So I'll talk you through this one. So find a comfortable seat or lie down wherever is comfortable for you. Feel your spine lengthen again, bring your shoulders to your ears, and exhale, drop them down the back. And we'll just take a cleansing breath together. Inhale, fill your belly with air, and exhale, let it go. Awesome. So I'll count you through this. We're gonna inhale for 4, hold for 4, and exhale for 8. Inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, hold. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, hold. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Take 2 more breaths like this. And then you can release control over the breath. And actually take a body scan again. So you can keep the eyes open or closed and just scan the body again from the head to the toes. Observe what's present for you here, whatever it is. And just notice if it's any different from when we began. So that 1 to 2 breath is great because it activates our parasympathetic nervous system on that exhale. So you'll get a lot of the same benefits that you do from the diaphragmatic breath. And it's a really good way that you can increase your calm when you're under pressure. And it starts with the body and then communicates to the mind. So the next point that I had to make was a point of compassion. This is something that, in my opinion, we could all use a little extra compassion with ourselves. We don't always get to choose what's present for us, especially if you're someone who is experiencing chronic pain. That's not your choice. It's just there. However, you do have the ability to choose how you meet yourself in that. And often, there are studies that show that self-criticism and global self-comparison actually create a similar physical response in the body to that of stress. So activating the sympathetic nervous system, your cortisol levels will rise, the prefrontal cortex will actually shrink, and that prefrontal cortex manages our ability to manage behavior and our ability to deal with stress. But on the other end of the spectrum, studies have shown that self-compassion are similar to mindfulness practices in that it will counterbalance that. So self-compassion activates our parasympathetic nervous system just like the exhale does, which balances out that response. And it's also shown to strengthen the prefrontal cortex of the brain, which increases our ability to regulate our behavior, making us better equipped to deal with whatever is present. And I think that's all something we could use a little more of. And sometimes I think the easiest way that I think about it is often how I talk to myself isn't how I would talk to a friend.
Yeah.
But if you can take a moment though to imagine if my friend was going through this right now, what would I tell them? And it's probably different than what you would tell yourself. And especially if you're someone experiencing chronic pain, you are probably experiencing a wide array of emotions, especially now when there's so much extra uncertainty in the world. And if you can just start by validating whatever you're feeling, like if you're angry, yeah, you have every right to be angry. What you're going through sucks. Or if you're sad, yeah, like it's totally okay that you're sad. Rather than beating yourself up about what's present, if we can take a moment to just meet ourselves with compassion, with whatever that is, I mean, like, yeah, you know, like this is really hard. And that actually takes a weight off of our shoulders, which makes us better able to deal with what's there. Then we are more equipped to be in that present moment and to move through it. So a really good compassion practice that I like, sometimes we can't verbally get there in our minds yet. So we'll talk with just the first layer of it. And I'll have you, wherever you are, to think of a gesture that feels really compassionate to you. So for me, it's placing my palms on the heart. That feels like an act of compassion. Maybe it's like giving yourself a hug or holding your hand if you're not that affectionate. Maybe it's just like touching your knees. Whatever feels comforting. For Kelly, it's probably like touching your hand. So think of a moment, like, okay, find your compassionate gesture. And then find a comfortable seat wherever you are. And we'll take 3 deep breaths again, in through the nose and out through the mouth. 2 more like this. And wherever your hands are, wherever that compassionate gesture is, envision a dot of light there. Like imagine the sun right there. Feeling its warmth and its light. And with each breath, let that light grow and expand. Filling your entire body with this sensation of warmth and light, of compassion and kindness. And again, scanning the body from the head to the toes, and just notice what's present for you here, whatever it might be. And taking a moment to feel really proud of yourself, to maybe do something new for the first time, and just to try meeting yourself in a new way. And then you can bring your hands back wherever they were before. What was that?
That was good. I love that.
Yeah, it's a really good way that it actually helps our ability to like meet our own needs and our own attachment needs in particular. So it's a really good way to be like, you know what, I can give myself this compassion right now. And the more we can give it to ourselves, the more we can give it to others. But often it's hardest to give it to ourselves. So it's a really good practice. And just that envisioning of light, or that, gesture of compassion, is something you can do like flashes during the day. Whenever you start to feel frustrated, or maybe it's a real big moment of pain, like, what does your pain need right now? Maybe it needs a hug. Maybe it needs just a little care. So those are the 3 steps that I find incredibly useful to moving through challenges, and especially during the COVID-19 pandemic. Being aware of what's happening is really important. Acknowledging it, you don't have to over-consume media, but be aware of what's going on, and then accepting it. Because as scary as it is, and as much as we might not want it to be here, it's here. And we can always handle the moment that we're in. So give yourself your fullest ability to be with that. And then being really compassionate with yourself and with others. Because one of the biggest things that's been helping me through this is, you are not working from home right now. You are trying to work at home in the middle of a crisis. And that's what's happening right now. All of our bodies are having a stress response. We're under chronic stress, and that's it'll cause adrenal fatigue. It makes it harder to sleep. So it makes you more dehydrated, more prone to headaches. It's impacting our entire body and mind. So give yourself grace and compassion, and give yourself extra ability to nourish yourself, and care for yourself extra in this. And if you're someone who's already in pain, this makes it even harder. And be kind to yourself in that. And know that you can always handle the moment that you're in.
This was so helpful. I've read, I don't know if this is true, so you'll have to help me on this one, that the stress response that our body gives us to emotional stress is exactly the same as physical stress.
Yeah. So when there's a perceived threat or challenge, whether it's mental or physical, our body goes into that fight or flight response. And it'll increase our adrenaline, our cortisol levels, our whole body's stress response will come in, whether or not it's a physical thing there. So it's kind of like nice to understand that, at least too. Like, okay, like the things I'm experiencing are because of the stress that I'm under right now. And stress isn't inherently bad. I also think it's really important to remember that our body has a response to stress for a reason, and it has a lot of like positives. It can help us deal with the threat or challenge. It heightens our awareness and our energy levels. However, our body is meant to go back to its equilibrium when that threat or challenge is removed. So if that threat is constant, whether that's the COVID-19 pandemic or chronic pain or both, your body is in that constant stress response. So we have to do our best to give our body breaks from that. And it can start with the exhale, because the exhale will help counterbalance that response. So it's not something to get even more stressed out about. It's like, okay, you can breathe deeper. That's a great place to start. And it will do worlds of benefits for your body and mind.
It really gives you a sense of power over your pain, that there's something that you can control about it.
Absolutely.
I've always thought that while you can't eliminate the original pain, and the original pain and chronic pain will always be there, you can stop yourself from exacerbating any additional pain from your tense muscles or your increased heart rate or blood pressure. And I think that's just really powerful. I think that's a really huge tool that we can use.
Yeah, that's tremendous. And it's work, and that's like amazing to be able to recognize that and to, you know, keep working towards it, because you're exactly right. You don't have to make it harder for yourself than it already is. I think that kind of reminds me of the suffering is pain plus resistance. Like the pain is there, but you don't have to make it worse.
Great. This was so helpful. All these tips are really easy to do wherever you are, and no matter how many amounts of pain you're in.
I hope that it helps. I have a brief blog post that shares some of these techniques, so I'll be sure to share them with the Facebook group for people to check in with that as a resource.
Will you add that to the comments?
Happy. What was that?
Will you add that to the comments below the live video?
Yes, I'll add that to the comments once I figure out how to do that, once this is done.
That would be wonderful. Thank you all so much for joining us. And Holly, you were incredible and so useful. And if anyone has any questions or comments for Holly, just put them in the comments. And if she's able to, she'll get to them.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much for letting me share with you all today and for the impactful work that you all do. I really appreciate you all, and I'm so grateful to be a part of this today.
Yeah, we are so lucky to have you. All right, well, this has been another episode of Invisible InCourage, and we are so grateful that everyone could join us.